Got a great one here for you today. I get to watch an Airbus land at Heathrow Airport, but the next day I crash my paramotor. So it's the 21st of June and the time is 1:45 in the afternoon, so very hot. It's probably 25 to 26 degrees C on the ground. I'm expecting thermal activity. We've got a brown field here, so this field is going to be giving off thermals. It's going to be a very tricky launch, I think. I'm going to go up in my t-shirt and shorts. So, and the plan is to fly over to Little Gransden airfield and meet George, where he's going to take me for a flight in his helicopter. Arranged to meet him at 3 p.m, so time is getting a bit tight, so I'm going to stop talking in a minute. And then my wife is going to come down here, pick the van up, drive the van to Little Gransden, and when I come back from my helicopter flight, have a barbecue and maybe another cheeky flight on the paramotor. So a fun-filled day. So I've been having some engine trouble recently with the engine cutting out on launch. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But so I was a little bit apprehensive with that launch because it's 2 p.m. in the middle of June. Very, very thermic conditions, so I did not want to fail a launch. Luckily, I got off straight away. I did feel the throttle or the engine cutting a little bit on launch, but managed to get up, so that's great. A very, very bumpy flight over. I'm going to cut most of that out. So I come over to Little Gransden. What I loved about this little flight was it's a legitimate use of my paramotor for transport. It's my birthday today, so my wife is going to come over and meet me with the van later. I've left it in my local field, and I didn't want to bring two vehicles over to Little Gransden, so I thought, why not just fly over? So I landed at Little Gransden, just waiting for George now. There's my motor. Just pat my wing up. Nice. What an absolute treat. So George very kindly offered to take me out as it's my birthday. He didn't tell me where we were going, but as soon as we took off, he said we're going to go through central London. He's already planned the route, got clearance from air traffic control, and just look at all these sites. Absolutely amazing trip. There's a full photo album. There's way more photos than I want to stick in the video, but if you want to see all the photos, have a look in the link in the description. It was just absolutely incredible to be able to fly along the Thames right through central London. But the thing that really blew my mind the most was just how close I could get to all of the sites, and to be able to fly over Heathrow Airport. That was just absolutely incredible. It was also great just to hear George chatting to air traffic control, to the Heathrow Tower. It was also really fascinating to hear all the pilots talking to Heathrow as well. And this part that's coming up now, this is 09 right at Heathrow for taking off, and 09 left is this runway here. This Airbus pilot actually radioed down to the control tower and said there's a helicopter on the end of the runway. And air traffic control reassured him that we were holding and waiting for him to land. As soon as he landed, we had clearance to proceed. There were another 2 or 3 planes queuing up ready to land as well, so we had to get a move on. But what an amazing experience to watch an Airbus land at Heathrow right over the runway. Incredible. So we passed back over Northolt and then over Luton Airport. I won't show you all of that stuff. And then came back to Little Gransden and had another cheeky flight. So as you can see, I'm having trouble with my throttle, and actually re-examining this video, I'm actually wondering if my A's are touching the kill switch, and it's not the throttle cable at all, it's just my technique. Anyway, I've bought a new throttle from South Coast Air Sports, a cruise control throttle, so that's now been fitted, thanks to Gary. And so I'm looking forward to trying out my new cruise control throttle on my next flight. And so anyway, so I have a few flights locally, and then we have our barbecue, which was amazing. So there's probably about 15 to 20 of us, have a great little barbecue. Then Gary goes up for a flight later on in the evening, so I'll just show you that. So the next day I have several tests. What I do is I disconnect the kill switch on my throttle and the problem goes away. Again, as I said earlier, I'm wondering if my A's were touching the throttle. I couldn't really see as I'm concentrating too much on launching. But anyways, my throttle cable's changed now. Hopefully that problem will go away. So on this flight, the wind actually, I take off with a northerly wind and the wind then shifts around to an easterly. I decided to turn my engine off and have a lovely peaceful glide down. This is my favourite thing to do lately. But I do misjudge things and I do too much of an aggressive turn. Be interested in your thoughts on this one. So I know I'm too high at this point. Rather than doing figure of eights, I do an aggressive left turn away from the field and then come back. But I think that might have been my mistake. So no major damage to me or the motor, just a bent spar and a little nick on the prop which is easily repaired. A couple of grazed knees and some bruised feet. My knees were bruised as well. And pulled a muscle at the top of my leg, but nothing major. So I thought I'd go for an engine off, nice peaceful engine off landing, and then the wind really got really strange down low and didn't have time to put my engine back on. So to this hedge behind me here, I was coming towards the hedge and then probably about 20-30 feet up I realised I wasn't going to make it over because I was just being pegged back. So I pulled left brake to land on this track here, and then the wind kind of just pushed me back into this field. Cut my knees up. No damage to the motor though, I did go right over. Prop is not damaged. I thought the prop was broken for sure. I'll have a look at the spars. Maybe the spars are a bit bent, I don't know. Some more spot landing practice needed, I think. So I hope you enjoyed that. There's more photos in the link in the description if you want to see the full photo album. And if you enjoyed it and if you found the crash video helpful, then hit that like button. Thanks very much.